Hello guys, in this video I'm going to revise June 2025 Zimsec Combined Science Paper 2 Theory. So let us look at question number 1. So question number 1, the question is, state any two functions of water in the body. So one of the functions is that it helps in digestion. So water assists in digestion. It also removes toxins through kidneys. It comes out as urine. And we have the regulation of temperature. So I'm just giving many answers for the sake of revision. So it also regulates the body temperature. There's regulation of body temperature through sweating. So the process of sweating is a temperature regulation mechanism, and it's part of the process called homeostasis. It's part of the process called homeostasis. And it also helps in lubrication. So it makes what is called synovial fluid. So we have parts such as bones or such as knees where there is friction between bones. So water also helps to lubricate and reduce that friction between moving bones. Question 1b, it reads, Figure 1.1 shows a graph of daily energy requirements for two groups of people. Energy required per day per joule, and here is a male office worker and a male builder. And we can see that in terms of the quantities, a male office worker requires 15,000 joules of energy, and a male builder requires around 20,000 joules of energy. And the first question says, with reference to Fig 1.1, explain the difference in energy requirements for a male office worker and a male builder. So the first thing is to comment on the difference and then explain. So first of all, male office worker uses less energy of 15,000 joules because he does less physical labor. So it does less physical labor. So they're saying that in an office, that is what we call a sedentary worker. So he is a sedentary worker as opposed to a builder who does more physical. So that is the reason why he has less energy requirements. Question B, item 2. It reads, identify any other consideration that can be made for a diet of different people. So you can also consider age. You can also consider the age. Old people, babies, they have different energy requirements. So this is babies or old people. So here just need to list age. Just explaining here. And there is also medical conditions. So there are people who may be sick. For example, you have a problem of having excess sugar, which is called diabetes. So those people, they require different energy requirements. Question part C, it reads, state any two effects of malnutrition. So malnutrition results in weak immunity. So there are nutrients which help to boost the immunity. So lack of those nutrients results in weak immunity. There's also lack of energy. There's also lack of energy due to lack of, for example, carbohydrates. And you may also suffer from diseases such as kwashiorkor due to lack of proteins. So also have many other different deficiency diseases. And then name the part of the male reproductive system that carries sperms to the urethra. So the name of that part is the sperm duct. It is the sperm duct. It is the one which carries sperms from the reproductive system to the urethra. Part B says name the function of the epididymis. So the function of the epididymis, it is for storage of sperms until they reach maturity. And then part C, it reads, give two functions of the testes. So the testes, they help to produce sperms. They produce sperms, and they also secrete hormones. They also secrete hormones, e.g. testosterone. Part D, it reads, name one part of the male reproductive system that produces seminal fluid. So the name of the male reproductive system that produces seminal fluid is the prostate gland. So the prostate gland is the one which produces seminal fluid. Part E, describe and explain the effect of gonorrhea on the part named in A. So the effect of gonorrhea on the part, on the sperm duct, which we named in A, is that it causes inflammation. That may lead, so there's inflammation and pain, and this inflammation may lead to sterility. So sterility is a condition whereby the male may no longer be able to have children. That's sterility. Question number 3, which is now the chemistry section. So table 3.1 shows properties of the subatomic particles. And subatomic particle position, mass, charge. So the electron, the position of the electron, it is found in shells, or you can say an orbit. And the nucleus, its mass is also equivalent to 1, which is 1 atomic mass unit, and this one is 1 over 1840. The charge, an electron is negative, a neutron is 0 or neutral, a proton, it is positive. So these are the subatomic particles which are found inside an atom. Part B, it reads, the oxygen elements exist as either oxygen atom A or B. Atom A has a proton number of 8 and a mass number of 16, while atom B has a proton number of 8 and a mass number of 18. State the name used to describe the oxygen atoms A and B. So these are what we call isotopes. So these are what we call isotopes. So isotopes, these are atoms of the same element which have the same proton or atomic number but different mass number. So they have the same proton or atomic number but different mass or nucleon number. So these are what we call isotopes. Here you can even say different neutron number. Item 2 says calculate the number of neutrons in atom B. So the number of neutrons in atom B, we have a formula which says the mass is equal to number of neutrons plus the number of protons. So atom B has a mass number of 18. So I'm saying 18 is equal to neutrons, that is n, plus the number of protons, it is 8. So it is 8. So if you're going to subtract 8 both sides, it's going to be 18 minus 8 is equals to n. Then 18 minus 8, you get 10. So it means it is 10 neutrons. So this is the formula that I was just supposed to use, whereby I was saying the mass number of any atom is equal to the number of neutrons of that atom plus the number of protons. Then we have item 3, which says write the electronic configuration of atom A. So atom A has a proton number of 8. So a proton number of 8, it actually means that it has 8 electrons. So when you write an electronic configuration, what you need to first of all know is the number of electrons in that atom or in that ion. So in this case, this is an atom. So 8 electrons, the first shell has a maximum of 2 electrons. So put 2 electrons in the first shell, and then from 8 you are left with 6. In the second shell, it has a maximum of 8 electrons. So all the 6 are going to get into the second shell. So our electronic configuration is 2.6. And if it required an electronic configuration diagram, that is where you're going to say oxygen. So this is the nucleus, and the first shell, you put 2 electrons, and the second shell, you put 6 electrons, which are usually drawn in pairs. So this is an electronic configuration diagram, and this is just electronic configuration. Question number 4, it reads, Fig 4.1 shows the apparatus used in the electrolysis of water. So we have a power source, and we have a gas M, and we have X, and this is acidified water. And it said, define the term electrolysis. So to define the term electrolysis, this is the decomposition, which is just the breaking down of an ionic compound using electricity. This is what we call electrolysis. So it is the decomposition or the breaking down of an ionic compound using electricity. So electro is electricity and lysis is the breaking down. Part B, it reads, name any one material that can be used to make electrodes. So that material is graphite, or you can call it carbon. It's just because graphite is made up of carbon. And the reason why we use this one, it is because it is inert, or it is non-reactive. So it doesn't interfere with the reactions which are taking place in the electrolytic cell. Question part C. Identify gas M. So gas M, you can see that looking at the test tubes, gas M is the one which has a larger volume, and as compared to this one here, so gas M, that is hydrogen. So hydrogen is the one which is collected double the volume of oxygen. Then explain why water is acidified. So that is part D. So the reason why water is acidified is because we want to increase its electrical conductivity. So on its own, it is a poor conductor of electricity, and electrolysis depends on the movement of electricity. So we want to increase its electrical conductivity. That is why we acidify. And the gas that is used to acidify is sulfuric acid. Sometimes it is also called the electrolysis of dilute sulfuric acid, the electrolysis of water. Part C, it reads, describe with the aid of an equation the reaction which takes place at C. So at C, that is where, at X, that is where we said hydrogen gas is produced. So this means that the reaction which takes place at the cathode is reduction. So that is where hydrogen ions gain electrons. Remember, addition of electrons is reduction. So hydrogen ions plus electrons, you get hydrogen gas. So this is in words, and you can even write as a chemical equation. 2H plus aqueous, in aqueous state, just because there's water, plus 2 electrons, it gives hydrogen gas is H2. Question number 5 is now the physics section. It reads, Fig 5.1 shows a carburetor. Identify the parts labeled A and B. So this part A, that is an air filter. That is an air filter which is meant to filter out air. And part B, that is a jet which brings the fuel into the system. Item 2, state the effect of blockage of part B. So if there is blockage of this part, which is the jet, you are going to have a less efficient engine. So it is going to be less efficient engine, just because there is less O2 for complete combustion. So there will be less oxygen, which is O2, for complete combustion. Part B, it reads, state any two differences between intake and exhaust strokes of a petrol engine. So the two differences is that for the intake stroke, the inlet valve opens and piston moves down. piston moves down, while for the exhaust, the inlet valve closes and piston moves up. So you are just using similar comparisons. You talk about inlet valve for the intake where it is open, and for the exhaust it is closed. The piston moves down for the intake stroke, whilst it moves up for the exhaust stroke. Part C, it reads, state any two advantages of modern fuel over old models. Modern fuel engines over old models. So one of the advantages is that they are more efficient, meaning to say they use less fuel as compared to old models, and they also result in less pollution. Means say they release less pollutant gases such as carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. Question 6a. To state two measuring instruments used in an experiment to verify Ohm's law. So we use the ammeter, which measures the current, and we also use the voltmeter, which measures voltage. So Ohm's law is to verify the formula voltage is equal to current times resistance. So you need to measure voltage. And part B, it reads, a resistor of 5 ohms is connected in a circuit. A current of 0.5 amps flows in the circuit. Calculate the voltage across the resistor. So the voltage across the resistor, you are going to find it using the equation voltage is equal to current times resistance. So our current is one which is given as 0.5 amps. So it's 0.5 multiplied by the resistance, which is 5 ohms. 0.5 times 5, you get 2.5, and the units is volts. So you need to put the units so that you get all the marks. So out of 3 marks, you need to put the units. So we've reached the end of section A, and we are going to continue on section B, C, and D.